Real Country 1430 AM and 107.3 FM WRDN. I'm Brian Winnikins from the NAFB convention, and thank you to our NAFB broadcast sponsors, including Alcivia Co-op, Annabis Silo, Animal Wellness Center of Buffalo Valley, and Compeer Financial. Joining us this morning, Mike Stranz, Vice President of Advocacy with National Farmers Union. Talk about some of the things going on in D.C. And Mike, well, thank you for joining us. Beef has been in the topic or in the conversation here for the last few months because of the high beef prices, the tariffs. They were going to be reduced. Cattlemen kind of got upset, and the administration said you shouldn't get upset. And it finally came out where cattlemen were like, hey, now wait a minute. We need to look at the top 4 meat processors in the country. And that's something that I know Farmers Union has been asking for a long, long time, and it looks like that's actually started.
That's right. It sure has been a roller coaster for beef over the last couple months, particularly, like you said, about the imports from Argentina and how that's moving forward, that tariffs are coming down for Argentine beef to come into the U.S., whether or not that has a huge impact on the market because of the numbers, the actual quantity of beef coming in, or is it more about the message that it sends? And we think it's the wrong message because there's so much talk from the administration about putting American farmers and ranchers first. This is clearly not that. It's putting a lot more emphasis on bringing in beef from Argentina. And that sends a lot of messages that aren't necessarily positive to American farmers and ranchers. But fortunately, there's a few things that are stemming from that are promising. One of those things you mentioned, the further investigation by DOJ into the meat packers. There's been investigations going on at DOJ for a number of years now. Some of those started back in 2020 after the Holcomb fire and some of the market movements that happened then and then into COVID. So there's been investigations going on at DOJ. Farmers Union members have engaged with the Department of Justice to help get to the bottom of some of this, and hopefully this additional emphasis will bring about some actual results too. And glad to see that emphasis placed by the president. The other part, if I might, is on country of origin labeling. Because if we're going to be bringing in more beef from Argentina, it stands to reason that we should label it accurately, consistently, and that puts American farmers and ranchers on a more level playing field. Because consumers want to buy American. They just don't always have the ability to know that they're buying American. And there's 2 bills out there, one in the House, one in the Senate. On the Senate, Majority Leader Thune is the leader on that. And that helps a lot. On the House side, a congresswoman from Wyoming has Harriet Hageman from Wyoming is the lead co-sponsor there. Those bills are picking up a lot of steam. We want to see them move to the president's desk soon.
I remember when we first had country of origin labeling, then we got taken to the WTO and we lost that. And so then that's kind of how all of that went away. Is there a concern that we're just going to see that movie again?
Well, I think in the last 10 years, our attitudes in the U.S. about the WTO have changed a lot. And the fact that Congress, even though some of the proceedings on Cool were moving in a positive direction in our own domestic legal system, we still back down because of the WTO concerns. That's not the case anymore. I think our trade policy in the U.S. has moved beyond the WTO, and it's not as concerned about that now. So I think it's time to move forward with country of origin labeling. The interest in protecting American farmers and ranchers is there. And I think because of the experiences of the last few years and the last couple of months, it's all the more important to move forward with it.
Talking with Mike Stranz, Vice President of Advocacy with the National Farmers Union here at the NAFB convention. You mentioned trade, and a lot of the organizations I've asked the same question. Okay, we get all of these announcements on, quote, trade deals, unquote, but they haven't been ratified by Congress. There is no trade promotion authority. So if the, quote, trade deal is sent to Congress for ratification, it's now open to 535 amendments. Why is everybody getting excited that these, quote, trade deals are being announced? Because to me, it's not a trade deal until it's ratified by Congress. And if it isn't, then if any new administration coming in 2029 can just sign an executive order saying, all of those deals, I didn't make them and we're not doing them.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of question about what's going to happen with the Supreme Court process that's underway. regarding the use of tariffs in an emergency setting like the administration would suggest. So we don't know what's going to happen with some of these tariffs, if the Supreme Court is going to strike them down retroactively or moving forward. Lots of uncertainty there. So that's like, let's just set that aside. And then the trade deals or exchange of letters in some cases are far less formal than the trade deals we've seen in previous decades, whether it's NAFTA, CAFTA, some of the agreements with individual countries like South Korea, Colombia, places like that. Those were more formalized through Congress rather than the kind of just exchange of paper that the administration's gone through. There's a long ways to go before those are fully implemented, and let alone seeing any benefits from them. We're hopeful that it will work, but we don't know that it will. And there's also the chance that the Supreme Court may weigh in on this to kind of upend the whole deal.
Meanwhile, we are getting ready for the review of the USMCA. What is Farmers Union wanting to see on that review?
Well, we want to make sure that USMCA is one of those bills or trade deals that did move through Congress and was ratified there. We want to ensure that we're not doing any more damage there, because Farmers Union, USMCA, of course, was NAFTA originally. We were deeply concerned about NAFTA, about how that might affect our industry here in the U.S., not just agriculture, but industry broadly, and also that it might have some ill effects on farmers beyond borders here. We're talking about, we don't want to undercut farmers in other countries necessarily through these bills and deals. So with USMCA, we'd like to see more or less a continuation of where things are. Let's not upend that as well in this whole process and situation we're in trade-wise.
Meanwhile, as we head to 2026, every day we get closer to the midterms, which means every day we get closer to absolutely nothing going to be happening in Congress. Let's not kid ourselves. What's our time? I mean, is there a window, a very, very short window here to get some of these policies and other issues through before it becomes officially silly season?
Yeah, so there's a window. It's not a very big one, but there is a window, and it's early 2026. With the Farm Bill being extended or kicked down the road till the end of September 2026, that gives us time, but it also reduces the urgency because Congress needs a deadline. And even if they blow by the deadline for a while, it does, start to have an impact. That's why the Farm Bill needs to have this permanent law provision and all that. With that push to September, what it really means is that Congress has about 2 or 3 months in early 2026 to really dig in on Farm Bill and Farm Bill 2.0 in particular. And there's rumblings that the ag committees are looking at that. But gosh, we got to get going on it. And the political will is hard to come by because of how the Farm Bill was split up. And with the deep cuts to SNAP that were part of the reconciliation bill, the big, beautiful bill over the summer, it reduced the potency of the Farm Bill coalition. And we need to, extend an olive branch, work together with those in the nutrition community and other sectors of the food system to make sure we've got a broad and strong Farm Bill coalition once again.
Mike Stranz, Vice President of Advocacy with the National Farmers Union from the NAFB Annual Convention in Kansas City. I'm Brian Winnikins for WRDN.